What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 24 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Mannfred von Carstein Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Bathilda von Sinclair and to some degree, Wilmar of the Thousand Wings have completed wiping out Trutch Craventail and Clan Rictus, which means they're free to move to other locations. We are approaching Jarn Grund as well. Just look, there's a bunch of caravans and stuff hanging around there, and we'll be moving there, though Bathilda will be going after the Bone Rattlers, and frankly, they have enough territory that it might actually warrant a couple of armies to deal with them. We shall see, though another army may need to move onwards towards wiping out the Legion of Asgore for good. There's a bunch of stuff here, but fortunately we can see everywhere where we have a border, we have a bunch of armies. They are ready to keep enemies at bay, essentially, and, well, the armies work better than defensive structures. Anyway, we left off last episode. Oh, also forgot the Count Orlok army with the Tomb Scorpions and Spokal Stalkers also had a pretty darn fun fight last time. Anyway, we ended off last episode with the possibility of attacking Skavenblight, which we're going to do right now, and we are going to have to do it manually because it's a broken battle due to the fact that the structures and all that stuff have different amounts of HP. So we're just going to have to do it with this way, and that's just fine. We'll get plenty more battles to come, I'm sure, and it's not like Kemmler's army hasn't already defeated much stronger foes than this particular garrison. The big issue here will, of course, be the fact that the enemy has a nuke. Not really a threat to our ghosties, start deployment, but it is most definitely a threat to the Mortis engine, which would be destroyed if it got hit directly, so we'll try to pay attention to that. We don't actually need... Okay, we'll do this. We will still use the ram, so let's use the spirit hosts on it, and we also don't really care what happens to the spirit hosts because we're not keeping them, so that's just fine as well. We will send the rest of the spirit hosts together with Cairn rates up on the walls, so let's do something like... Okay, why are you guys in that weird formation? Do that. Send them directly up those walls. Let's see if I can get this right. So it's two going here, one going here, one going here. They have perfect vigor, so they don't need, the... Trying to deploy and think at the same time. They don't need the towers. Okay, you two stay away from each other. Mortis engine will head you directly at the gate. Frankly, all of you will head directly towards the gate. And who else do we have? We still have the Cairn, or Hex Wraiths rather, but they will have to wait until the enemy army is, what is this? Oh, right, the Banshees. They can go through the gate, I guess? Let's go through the gate. Alrighty, I think that's all we gotta do. So let's make you guys group, I don't know, 4. Let's make you guys group 5. And everybody else will group up as needed, depending on how the battle actually goes. So, start and go. Group 4. Hit those walls and climb. Climb, trying not to get too much damage on you from those Poison Wind Globadiers, or Bombardiers, rather. There we go, that's certainly going to hurt the Spirit Hosts, but, ooh, and so are those, but we should be able to get heal 1 off. And can you reach these guys? Yes, you can. Alright, get heal 2 off right before they climb the walls so that they stop taking damage. Alright, now that the walls are climbing, or now that the units are climbing the walls, we will be able to summon units inside the enemy settlement, which is what we're looking for. You need to move forward towards the gate as well. And we also have 3 units of Barrow Guardians summoned. I was hoping that the towers would actually target them rather than target the ghosties, but what can you do? Still gotta watch out for that nuke. Is that the nuke coming in? No, it's a Warp Lightning. Alright, that's fine. You guys should hopefully not be too threatened by it. Alright, and this guy might be threatened by it, we shall see. Alrighty, where is that nuke? If we can spot it, we can also dodge it, so there is that to consider. And are you guys unable to... Okay, you know what, the Mortis engine is probably taking up too much space here. Oh, you guys aren't able to move in because there's units there. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough, but the ghosties are on top of the walls now, not in great numbers as yet, but that is going to change. Alright, how are we doing otherwise? Are we ready to start summoning raised dead units inside the enemy settlement? I think we are. Also pop a Wind of Death through their lines if we wanted to, just to speed the matter up a little bit. Krell, get in here, start attacking the enemy lord. together with Kemmler, and you two together can be group 1. Wait, we'll have to use the Necro to do it. Let's do something like that. Hopefully that doesn't go directly through the gate. I've seen it happen before. And there's that Wind of Death, a lovely line, and... damn it, that's exactly what I didn't want. Alright, but fortunately our spirit hosts weren't there yet. Alright. And there's the nuke, and heavily damaging one of the spirit host units, but that's fine. You guys come on down, including the spirit hosts. All of you get off the walls. We need to heal you up rapidly. Fortunately, because the spirit hosts have a lot of resistances, they do manage to survive it, even if it was a close thing. But once again, we're going to replace them, so it hardly matters. Oh, they're melting away now. That's not as great because we can't heal them yet, because they need to get off the wall. Ooh, and the warp lightning hits them as well. Try to get off that wall, or maybe... Wait, how about this? So you go here, activate Van Hels's Danse Macabre, and hopefully they'll be close enough to get the Curse of Undeath healing them up a little bit. You guys also need to get off that wall, and Karen Knights, you can't stream in yet. Gate is not down yet. Did you guys drop your ram? You dropped your ram. Why'd you drop your ram? Back up and start attacking the wall, please. Let's get another unit into the blob of enemies here. And Spirit Ghost, do you count as being down now? Yes, you do. Alright, heal 1. And Overcast to heal 2. Now, there we go. And we might as well pop off a Curse of Years as soon as Curse of Undeath is up. So that's 15 seconds. Alright, we'll pop this in a few. Alright, you know what? You guys come down. And you guys still up here, come down as well. Hopefully they don't have another nuke to their name. I need to clear these guys out a little bit faster. Is the gate down now? Yes, the gate is down now, meaning the spirit hosts can head on in, but we don't have enough units to move otherwise. Kemmler, let's get another Van Hels up and running on everybody in here. And then Mortis Engine try to move through the enemy line. We're looking pretty okay here. Let's try to move some Karenites out and start them attacking other units here, because the gate to the breach will soon be cleared. You guys continue making your way forward. It's a relatively easy type of battle. I mean, it's not like they had a garrison or anything like that, so... we're just about good. Just need to force the rest of the units at the gate here to run away. And is that an enemy tower? No, that's our tower. I was like, wait, how are you still firing at us? Alright, and hello, if it isn't some Poison Wind Globadeers, you guys start moving towards all of these guys. Hex rates, get ready to move. And you know what, you Barrow Guardians, you're kind of slow, so just get out of the way. Let's charge these guys, shall we? And the Hex rates can take care of other stuff. In fact, we can maybe move the White Kings this way instead, together with Kemmler. Gotta take care of that Doom Wheel, and is the enemy lured around, or did we kill him? I think we had Kemmler attack him, so he very well might be dead. Alright, anybody else not doing anything? You, just keep on heading up there. Run the enemy down, best you can. In a big old blob, and you guys go after the Doom Wheel. Kemmler and Krell do the same, Mortis Engine. Go over there. Zombies, just stay here. Stay here and don't do anything. Because you're just gonna get in the way. Even if the ghosties can sort of move through you, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, how's those Karenites looking? They're coming. Gonna be a while until they all get through that gate and all that, but that's fine. You guys, I thought I told you to move, but apparently you don't want to listen. Which isn't very nice, but what can you do? Alright, Banshee's helping out. We'll speed this up in shortly. With that unit of... Yeah, why did you get out of the group, anyway? Oh wow, that Doom Wheel got ripped apart quickly, damn. As it should be, but still damn. Do we want to maybe cast a spell here? Where's the Necro? Necro, come here. Cast a Wind of Death through this. Probably gonna clip a few ghosties, but whatever, it'll just end the battle all that much quicker. Like so. A little bit of damage to some of you, and to some of you, you can just get a nice heal. And I'm sure you'll be fine. Alright, these guys will shatter. And this is another Book of Nagash. That's nearly ours. You guys break this apart. You guys head towards that Warp Lightning Cannon. We can, in fact, do that by summoning units on top of it, and I think the battle is ours. Okay, there's another full HP Storm Vermin here. I just charge them directly. I don't care that they're anti-large. I'm sure the Hex Wraiths don't really care either. As long as they don't get distracted by other units back here. There we go. Charge right in, swing those scythes, send those rats a-flying. And there we go. Shane at Skavenblight was a broken siege battle, but let's face it, this was too easy of a battle for us to be concerned about anyway, so not a big deal. And we can find much, much more challenging battles than a non-garrison army holding location. That made sense, right? I'm just going to pretend that it did. Alright, solid kills on the Mortis engine as usual, 374 as well. Well, I mean, it's got the aura and a big old blob of Skaven. I'm sure that Necro with the with that nice Wind of Death also did plenty. 121 kills on the named Restless Souls unit of Karen Wraiths, which beat all the other units, which is hardly a surprise because the hex rates came in rather late as they were waiting. And we certainly didn't want them blobbed up inside the enemy settlement waiting for that nuke. I'm actually impressed that the enemy nuked the wall. I kind of wasn't expecting that. But anyway, Occupy, and that's the 6th Book of Nagash, now ours. Student, mission successful, Helm of Discord, Restless Spirit, Blighted Marshes, Storm of Necromancy, 1st Book of Nagash, giving us additional hero capacity and hero action success chance. This kind of makes me laugh because we really gotta use that at other times within the campaign. But now it's not so useful because we have enough units for it not to matter. You can probably keep the Sepulchral Grove, but lose the Ossuary and the Mausoleum. Immediately get the Balefire Brazier up and running, and, at least for now, uncollect the income and repress those mortals. Do you want to keep the Reliquary here? At the loss of control? I mean, let's see. We're about to get 2 spaces. One needs to be a gibbet. Oh, you know what? Keep the Ossuary while growing. And yeah, you know what? I'll lose the Reliquary. We need to go 1, 2. So that's 1, 2. And that's all the slots right now. Meaning we wouldn't even be able to get a gibbet. And I do want to keep the Sepulchral Growth for the additional Vargulf capacity. We gotta have it somewhere, and Skavenblight seems like a pretty good place because it's never going to be making a lot of money anyway, so we don't need to rely on it making money. Anyway, good job, Kem. Tobaro will be probably the last location. No, 2 settlements. So Tobaro and presumably Xerixil. I didn't think that they had any units there. The annoying aspect of this is that we'll have to head over there. I was hoping to occupy it before these guys did. We also have to watch out for Durthu being annoying. We could also move towards Kingsglade, but in theory we could just raise an army there instantly, and we don't really have to be that concerned. Alright, well, let's do things in order. Manny, I believe there was an island in your face, so grab that, and then keep on moving up the coastline towards Nagashazar. Gonna be a fair bit of traveling, which unfortunately means you won't be transferring all of that XP you get to other armies, but no, oh well. And Warlock and Spotter Spyglass. No materials at sea from Manny. Alright, and stay in our own territory so that you don't suffer attrition. Any more islands on the way? I see 1 shipwreck over here, which is nice. Alright, after Manny we got Kadan von Senkenhof, who needs to march stance, I guess, up north towards Ekrund, and we'll do so right now, all the while healing up. Nice capture of Galbarez. That additional spell resistance and weapon strength on pretty much all of our infantry, or at least our elite infantry units, is very, very useful. Wilmar of the 1,000 Wings. Still waiting those 2 slots to be filled by zombie dragons, but until we get them, can't do much. You know what? We'll use you to take Darkhold, and we can use Elvira to take the Sentinels. I kind of like that better, because then Elvira can actually have a nice fight. Yeah, let's do that. So you gonna go here. We'll send you down to Darkhold. We have to wait somewhat around here. Wait, any chance that you can raise a zombie dragon now? I see Terrorgeist. I see no zombie dragon yet, eh? Oh, we should have our first zombie dragon capacity now. Or wait, no, actually, no, in 2 turns, I lied. That's why we can't raise it. But we'll probably be able to raise one here, so yeah. Channel, stay there. Elvira, you're gonna fight. Go to the Sentinels. We'll deal with your points later. I just want to see the all-living army in action a little bit more. And obviously it's not... Oh, they have the frickin' Dreadquake battery. That's concerning. That's extremely concerning. It's only 1 use, but we'll have to be real careful not to lose these guys after all of this, after all this time. Anyway, War Banner is probably best placed on weapon strength and reload time reduction. I'm gonna say the Man-Eaters with Ogre Pistols, and the standard probably on one of the living Border Mercs. Wailing Banner also probably in the center line of the Border Mercs, because of them causing terror would be helpful, as we otherwise don't have access to it. Alright, well, we're gonna fight this. I know it's just hobgobs, but Elvira needs to try her new and improved and nearly final form of this army out. Go. Alrighty, here we go, our living army with the Cathaeans supporting units, the drum and the sky lanterns. Bastion of the Great City is giving us armor and missile block chance, or alternatively the 8 melee attack as well as accuracy and immunity to psychology, and then of course the lanterns giving us that. Okay, I selected the wrong thing, that's why I couldn't see it. The Eye of the Dragon with accuracy and missile resistance as well, which should be making these guys all pretty darn tanky. 90 armor, 10 missile resistance, 30% physical resistance, and shielded. Pretty solid. Pretty darn solid. And a nice little formation of living units, and of course we do also have our ogres that'll be part of this, but since our only one cannon here is probably not enough to get the enemies running towards us quickly, we'll just use the ogres to help out. We have a pretty good position here, other than the potential of getting hit by a dreadquake, which we are watching out for, and if the enemy has to charge uphill between these two hills, they'll probably have a pretty bad time. Anyway, ogre pistols move forward, trying to annoy the enemy as best they can. Frankly, their shots are going to be wasted on the goblin laborers, and frankly the hobgobs as well, but as long as the enemy army is annoyed enough to go towards us, I think we're good. Looks like the enemy does drop their dreadquake, clipping one of our units of border mercenaries slightly, but we were waiting here to watch for it, and thus we're able to dodge it for once. Alright, and the enemy army is not quite annoyed, but they are starting to take a little bit of damage, trying to move our ogre pistols forward to try to target those hobgob wolf raiders instead of the wasting their shots on the regular hobgobs and the laborers. But it looks like there isn't much need anymore, as the enemy army is sufficiently annoyed and will be moving towards us. Unfortunately, some of their units are very annoyed and will move out rather quickly. A unit of hobgoblin wolf raiders will hit our units of man-eaters with ogre pistols, and for those watching the Drakenhof campaign, we've already seen that the anti-large units of wolf raiders are pretty darn effective, and so are likely to do a fair bit of damage. We lost about 15% of HP on these guys, but it'll be worth it as we do make our way back towards our lines. And we're nearly there, just a little bit more, and frankly it looks like the ogres will probably have gotten rid of this hobgob wolf raider unit themselves. I maybe should have even just turned them to fight in melee for a little bit, because while the wolf raiders can do plenty of damage, they're also extremely fragile, so letting them attack isn't really all that necessary. Alright, and it looks like the first of the enemy units are drawing close, or at the very least close enough for our border mercenaries to fire away. 31 damage, and armor piercing at 20 at that, which is pretty darn solid. Armor piercing a little bit wasted on the various units of laborers, but that's alright. Call it a bit of a preview for any future battles against the Chaos Dwarfs, as we do still need to head up towards Drakenhof's final territories, and I'm sure he'll have a few Chaos Dwarfs with armor there. Looks like they'll hit us with the Wrath of Jar, which does decent damage to our Sylvanian crossbows, but fortunately not enough to actually kill off any units, and just to take HP damage. And it does look like some of those Wolf Raiders will just barely manage to reach our lines of border mercs, who take the charge just fine. And we do switch to Disdain of the Dragon Emperor for the additional melee attack accuracy and immunity to psychology while we're firing. And if the enemy should close with us in enough numbers, then we will simply switch back to Bastion of the Great Cities and get that armor and shielding back up and running. Lanterns still flying overhead and sniping the occasional jerk, and of course our Vampirus is watching from up on high as well, dropping the occasional supporting spell. And now that the enemy has finally properly reached our battle line, we'll head down and fight with the vampire as well. Alright, and here we go. The fight is joined. Our ogres have made it back towards our main line and can fire over the heads of our other troops because, well, the ogres are tall, so it'll work fairly nicely like this. That said, the enemy army is already in pretty darn bad shape. The balance power is at about 90% in our favor, and obviously we were always going to win this one with a relatively decent ease. I just wanted to see how the army would perform in its new form, which is pretty good by the looks of it. Alright, some sneaky gets making it in, leaping forward. A few arrows come our way, but we're back into Bastion of the Great Cities with that big ol' increase to armor and all that, and I think we'll be just fine. Alright, it looks like the sneaky gets fine, no purchase fighting the Lamian mercenaries, and as they run away, they will take many a shot to the back, and many a cannon shot as well. Alright, in the balance of power, about 95% in our favor. Just a couple more units. If we force them all to rout to the battle, will be ours. And we won it in a nice little formation, which was neat. Completely unnecessary, but always looks neat to do. Alright, and there we go. First sort of proper fight for this army. It goes their way. Well, I mean, we had that big old fight against Imric's High Elves, but this army had less of the units at that time, and now it has more, and is more powerful. Certainly more of those man-eaters with ogre pistols, which would have been a real help in bigger numbers against the dragon princes. Alright, very, very nice. I'm loving this army already. The living army with almost all units with range damage, really only the war drum and the vampiress who commands them are the exception. I do wonder whether we should get a vampire with Dark Benediction in here, but we'd have to trade out either a border mercenary or the grand cannons to do so, and I do feel like we should have an artillery piece, though at the same time we probably will want to replace the grand cannon with a fire rain rocket in here instead. Still a living unit, but also one that actually does a little bit more sort of blob damage, as otherwise this army is very sort of very snipey. It'll be good against low number elite units, but it'll struggle maybe a little bit against sort of more numerous units. Obviously not this army, not in a one-on-one, but if it encounters like 3 full stacks, it's going to get overrun. Though the border mercenaries now do fairly well in terms of melee. Anyway, Occupy Shrieking Blade for Elvira. She doesn't need it. She should have magical damage on her own because she's a vampire, and she will, depending on what we give her in terms of her mount, potentially have everything she wants. So anyway, maybe do Dragon, or maybe just keep in support. We'll see. Wilmar, you are... Okay, yeah, already moved you. My bad, my bad. Bathilda, you are still going after the Bone Rattlers, although I do wonder whether we should have you start at Fallen King Mountain and Nashrak's Lair. This is sort of your return to where you started your legend in the other campaign, but at the same time I do feel like she should reclaim the Silver Pinnacle, so maybe on the way to Howling Rock then. Go to Howling Rock. Like so. And we'll try to get you towards the Silver Pinnacle. You are Lamian after all, and you should claim it. Wilhelm of the Grim Banquet, you are going to hit the Pillars of Grunny, and yes, we do technically have a mission to sack, or not sack it, to raid it, but it feels like kind of a waste of time. Lichbone Pennant, who should we put this on? We could put it on the Feasters in the Dusk, but they're already one of the stronger units. Maybe we'll give it to one of the Crypt Whores. There are 5 of them, so the central one can have a... Oh, okay, and I screwed that up. That was quick. Resolve. Alrighty, and then occupy the place. The Silver Road has been almost completely overrun by the Crypt Ghouls. And yeah, mission aborted. Alright, it's fine. Gustav Grigorovich, 'tis your last chance to obliterate the last turn that you need to obliterate the Ghost of Pawash. Poor little guys, I do feel bad about that. They did kind of like us, but, well, our own allies wouldn't have worked with them. They have a garrison here, but one I don't think it's worth fighting. Occupy. Alright, and enemy mission, ally mission successful, faction destroyed, and there we are. Ice Fire Plains are ours. We will obviously repress mortals, and we will delete the Barrow. We will delete the Sinister Cops, and yes, a Salt Plane, or Salt Pan, whatever. Upkeep reduction faction-wide once we get it up to tier 3, which should be reasonably quick. Alrighty, next up, what do we have? We have Frederick, who's moved, Recruiter. Which one are you? Do you need to? No, you don't need to do anything. Red Duke. Alright, these guys in Grom the Paunch. Frankly, yeah, it's a close victory, but we've already fought Grom, and we already know we can defeat him with 2 stacks. Do we attack the place? Huh. Actually, I just realized it won't be a broken battle. Oh, meaning we can fight it. Lovely. Alright, we'll fight that then. I thought it would be another broken battle like Skavenblight, but it looks like it doesn't have any buffs to the walls, meaning we should be able to fight it cinematically, which means we'll do that. A Recruiter and Vlad. You need to do... Go to World's Edge Archway, please. This one we don't need to fight. But we do need to swap units. Alright, close victory, and we'll see about that. You go here, then you, Recruiter, go to Vladdy, and transfer all of these units to him.
That will do nicely.
Like so. So these units, we will lose the zombie, and I believe it was one of the bats. The second bat will be replaced by, well, I'll just use both bats. The second bat will be replaced by the vampiress who's moving in. And we may lose either one of the... Maybe we only need one Vargulf in his army. I figure we want a another doggo, another direwolf.
Bring me flesh to craft.
Let's do something like that. Alright, now you should be more easily auto-resolvable, yes? I mean, it was all... Yeah, there we go. Close victory. Oh, game! How dare you! Alright. I mean, fine. We can fight this. Maybe we can fight this instead of Grom's battle, because once again, we've already fought Grom. This at least has a giant and some stuff that Vlad hasn't faced up before, and this is the nearly complete version of his army, so yeah, I'll always choose Vlad. So, Vlad, and what are you missing? Creatures of the Night will buff aerial units, or at the very least, actually buffs Vargulfs and Vargeists alike, some of which you will have in your army. Carriages of Death isn't super necessary, but the Unliving Host... Wait. No, it's also not necessary. Alright, let's do Creatures of the Night into Magical Animus. Everything else I think is fine. Alright, what about you two? What are we missing? We have Seduction of the Lamians, and, well, we'll need more vampires for that. You can start moving towards Immortal Will. You do have Transfuser, because clearly Vlad needs even more health. Let's get you Earthing as well, but try to move towards Dark Benediction. Isabella... You have all of your unique line, you probably should max out Scouting. It's not like you really need Red Fury to face off against anything here. Max out Scouting. Max out Scouting, grab Evasion. You're doing a lot of casting as well, so there is that. And oh, the AI gave her Supernatural Horror? What a waste. No, whatever. Whatever, all good. Vlad, time to fight, I think, and we'll just auto-resolve Grommy instead. Oh, now it's... Oh, no, it's still gonna die. Well, you know what? We're gonna not use the reinforcements anyway, so it should still be, I think, a fairly interesting fight. Go. All shall suffer, eh? Well, well, that's not good. Reminds me of Misery for All from Malika. That was an amazing line and always amuses me to no end. Anyway, Vladi is in with his army, more or less in its final form. And I'm happy to be seeing it work. And damn, look at the range on those crossbows. They are hitting these guys from a fairly long distance. I think the standard range on crossbows is what, 140, 160? We're at 238 here, and 34 missile damage. And this will also, the missile damage at least will also climb once we get another tech to buff them further. So they'll get even more scary. In the meantime, though, Vlad finally has some Blood Knights to his name, some Blood Dragon Warriors warriors and some regular blood knights, which are working together to advance with Vlad, as it would feel weird for him to have no blood knights whatsoever. He's also got his 2 Vargulfs, and while the enemy will try to charge towards us, they're not going to barrel through the blood knights or the Vargulfs, and they're going to get ripped apart. Vlad moves forward with Isabella and the other vampiress, Emmanuel Posner, in tow, and it looks like a big old blob of enemy units will get hit by the Pit of Shades. Definitely one of my favorite spells, and I mean, using it surprisingly sparsely in this campaign, despite how much I like the particular spell. It's just that, once again, I have a tendency to not go too hard on the damaging spells. Certainly, a single or a couple of really well-placed big damaging spells will absolutely win the battle for you, but I have a tendency to prefer buffing and debuffing spells on the units, just to allow the units to fight, rather than winning every battle with spell work. There have been some exceptions, not as much in this campaign, perhaps, definitely in the Imric campaign, where we had a couple of spellcasters who deleted armies essentially on their own, Michaela and Phaedian, for those keeping score, and well, they're legends in the community canon for good reason. Anyway, looks like Vlad and his vampires have made it through the first blob of enemies out here. We have our Vargeists about to land upon some of those poor Night Gobbo archers, just after they took a big old volley from the arrows. Gotta watch out for those, though. They're anti-large and would probably be a decent threat to our own Vargeists, if not careful. We have separated our blood dragons, and they are moving to the left and have currently knocked down an enemy platform, and by the looks of it, the enemy army is just generally having a pretty bad time. Also going to move in our dire doggos. The enemy has 2 of their rock lobbers deployed over here. Unfortunately, the thing about this army is it buffs those doggos to an insane degree in terms of their speed. Strider on top of 106 speed, so they run up that hill basically at the max speed that they can move, and we can reposition them on the map so quickly. It's pretty darn awesome. And of course, they're obviously tankier and harder hitting than they would otherwise be. Anyway, they hit that crew and tear into them very rapidly, and the crew basically in 10 seconds loses, let's say, 70% of its HP. Poor Gobbos. They really didn't see this coming. Especially with the rest of our army deployed down there. Anyway, the crews get torn apart and are completely gone. The archers are still firing, or crossbows rather, still firing away, trying to land a few shots on that giant. Missing some shots, I see, but the shots that are missing are simply landing in the other units and beside the giant instead, so hardly an issue. And by the looks of it, we do still seem to have enough accuracy to shoot over this wall, meaning if the giant wants to stay right there and fight Vlad and Isabella and Emmanuel, it'll probably take a fair few of those crossbow shots to the back of the head. Down to about half HP now, and of course taking damage from Vlad at the same time. And by the looks of it, the giant won't be up for too much longer, and that's with the resistances that the giant has. 50% missile and 10% physical is a fair amount. Frankly, if it was directly moving towards us, I'm sure the crossbows would have dropped it super quick. This is pretty much max distance, and it does look like a lot of the arrows are sailing wide, though I think only a couple of them were still attacking the giant, and the rest were just hitting whatever other units remained. Alright, and how are we doing balance power-wise? About 90% in our favor. Found another unit there for our crossbows to target. And man, these guys are blobbed up very nicely for those crossbows. Got to love the range on them. It's pretty crazy. Certainly not something you expect from the undead faction nowadays, at least in terms of crossbows. Anyway, it looks like the balance of power is maybe 95% in our favor. Battle's nearly ours. We hit the trolls a little bit and tore through them with our doggos, and then left behind a unit of zombies to let them get out. Otherwise, it looks like the last of the enemy units will break, and the battle will be Vlad's. Lovely. A relatively quick fight for a minor settlement, but certainly a fun one. Got to see those Sylvanian crossbows in action, and, well, we got to see all of the units of the army sort of separate from each other and shine on their own, which I can always appreciate. And generally something I like to do in small settlement battles and large settlement battles when possible as well, because you got to be a little bit more combined arms on the field. Anyway. Alright, man, the buffs that Vlad gives his crossbowmen make them pretty darn insane. That range on them is crazy, and the damage, I was very, very happy with that, and I think this was the right choice in terms of the battles to take. Sort of a fear the living sort of situation, at least when they're under command of a vampire between our two living armies. I love it. This one's a half-living army, but you know what I mean. Decisive victory and occupy the place, and is that the end of Skarsnik's faction as well? Rod of Flaming Death, don't need it. Certainly not in a recruiter. Restless Spirit, ignore that. Unholy Lodestone, enemy killed in battle. Yes, Crooked Moon destroyed, and we got a Talisman of Preservation out of it. A very lovely reward. Do we need to keep the... zombies cost 3 right now. Well, we just gotta get them down to 0, and then I can finally... be happy. I'm finally there, guys. Anyway, I guess I could transfer the high-level Fellbats to one of these guys as well. Also, Martin Regak, you were supposed to transfer the... oh, you know what? Here's what we'll do. You go here. You're supposed to transfer this stuff to Bathilda. Or at the very least, the Terrorgeists to Bathilda. And... actually, wait, no. Do that slightly differently. You can transfer the Mortis Engine... not to Bathilda, but to this guy, and then swap the units. Like so. Alright, because the Crypt Horrors together with the Mortis Engine are going to our Ghoul, or Crypt Horror and Bomber army, and then these two Terrorgeists are going to Bathilda, at least for now, until we can get her some zombie dragons. Still waiting on those, but anyway, nearly there. Just gotta get finally the tier 5 upgrades. We're only on turn 82 after all. Recruiter, a Red Duke. Okay, so since we fought battle, I don't think we need to fight this one. Red Duke, I would like you to swap units like this, and what? Technically, you don't need a Mortis Engine. I mean, it's nice to have them everywhere, but I also don't want to rely on Mortis Engine in every single army, and Red Duke's sort of a, Graveguard and other stuff sort of army. What can we do? I mean, I guess you just take a zombie for now. Leave John Doe with a couple of Mortis Engines so that he can at least function on his own. Yeah, alright, let's do that. And then we'll still auto-resolve this. And... oh, did I screw that up? I did screw that up. Whoops. My bad. You're supposed to take the Red Death here and transfer one of the Black Knights. Ah, you know what? Do this. Alright, now that's right? I think I got it. Yeah, we still need 2 more of these guys. We got 1 on the way. And we'll have to pick up 1 elsewhere. And then a Vampire. And then the Knights of the Red Death. Or whatever they're called. Anyway, we're just gonna auto-resolve this. Yeah, it's fightable, but yeah. We've already won harder battles with this particular army, so we'll just occupy the place, and... more Diplo relations with High Elves. Lovely. Weight Watcher. Orcsbane, Crone, mission successful. Student. I gotta double check the missions as well. And then Armor of Fortune. Nice. Don't bother with the Abyssal Wood, at least not right now. We'll go into Repress Mortals as we like to do, and don't collect the income as yet, at least until the Vampiric Corruption sets itself up nicely. We will need a Charnel Pit here. So you're going to build a charnel pit because it's a single location and it really will need to grow. Alrighty, Red Duke. You're going to march stance. You're going to start moving this way towards Castle Beston and Bordelot, and to meet up with Adrian Sigibald to transfer those Blood Knights to you. Alright, who is next? We're out of time. That's who's next. I would like to end the turn if possible, though I don't know whether it is. Assuming we can send you to fight the remnants of the Chaos Dwarfs means we can start sending Gorsty Boy out this way. So Gorst, start moving out here. And Oswald Regak, you were summoned specifically to get these units on field for Gorst. So, oh, I should have kept Gorst here for the construction cost reduction. Oh well, too late. Transfer this stuff. Power up the zombies a little bit more with the Dark Benediction, with the armor, and with the drum. There we go. That's looking pretty good. I'd love to get 2 more White Kings in this army, but I don't want to go too light on zombies and Ghost's army in particular. We'll see. Just depends on if it amuses me enough to get more zombies on field. Is there any big... Oh, there is a big... there's a big old battlefield here. I'm currently looking around to anywhere where we could potentially raise some... Ah, there's this one here as well, but that one's fairly far. Raise some zombie dragons. Alright, so you're going to head out here just in case the possibility of raising those zombie dragons exists, and you will either head towards Goldtooth or just go past them directly for the Empire, which I kind of like the idea of. I want to see how well you can fight against the... I want to see how well you can fight against Fire Rain rockets and stuff like that, or Hellstorm rocket batteries and stuff like that. Recruiter, you're fine-ish. Wallach Harkin. Are we nearly done with this turn? Oh wow, there's still actually a fairly long way to go. Okay, you know what? Then I think I'm going to call the episode here. We've still got a fairly long way to go, which means there is potential for other battles to be had and all that. And, yeah, so, calling it here. We're at 6 out of 8 books. Mannfred approaches Nagashazar. We'll be looking to send the Red Duke for the book here, and maybe Kemmler for the book at the White Tower of Hoeth, depending, because I don't want Red Duke to claim both of them. We also would like to try to vassalize the Cult of Pleasure, if possible, just because the idea kind of amuses me, and the fact that they're actually friendly with us, and don't care about the fact that we're friendly with the various vampire coast armies. So, stay tuned for more Manny. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, as they will determine when we will end the campaign. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.